And good day, everybody. I'm Wayne Land, Director of Partner Success here at RingLogix. And this would actually be my first webinar with our partner community. I've been here for about 3 months. I've managed to meet quite a few of our partners. If you haven't met me, love to chat with everybody, understand their RingLogix experience and what we can do to help our partner community. My email is there in the bottom right-hand corner, WLANDT@ringlogix.com if you want to connect. Today, I'm super excited. We've got a really great presentation, something that we've been looking forward to for a while, and it's in regards to our partnership with Mondago. And I'll turn it over real quick for our presenters to introduce themselves. So video is not working on their side, but we do have some pictures of the three gentlemen from Mondago who will be doing the presentation. So I'll turn it over to you guys to do a quick intro on each of you, and then I'll talk about the agenda for today.
All right, since my face is up there first, I'll go ahead. I'm Christian Chandler. Been with Mondago about a year and a half, but got several decades of telephony and software background, as well as covered complete North America for Mondago. So I'm very well versed in our product, what we have available, and kind of the first line of defense. If you have any questions or anything like that, I'm the guy to reach out to, outside of your RingLogix partner as well. But I am the guy in the U.S. We are based in Scottsdale, Arizona, and looking forward to working with the RingLogix team. Been happy to bring everyone on board. I know this has taken us some time, so finally getting that launch is great. And I'll go ahead and hand it off to Alan now.
Thanks, Christian. Hi, everyone. This is Alan at Mondago. I'm over in the UK. I'm a sales engineer, so I'm one foot in both camps, part technical, part sales, but really there to support Christian and support RingLogix in all technical aspects of the product. So I'll be giving you a bit of a highlight demo for going to Inava today. Here for questions if you have them. I'll hand over to Rob.
Hi everybody, my name is Rob Cox. I'm the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer at Mondago, based in the UK. Although I do spend quite a lot of time over in the US. I get out to you guys about 4 times a year, something like that. Really delighted to be working with you. As well as being in sales, I have a technical background as well, and I've done product work, so I can cover a few bases, and I'll be participating in the first and last parts of the presentation today. Okay, back to you, Wayne.
Thanks, guys. So just a quick agenda here. I'm going to talk a little bit about why this partnership is occurring and where we saw the value here at RingLogix, and assume that our partners would see some of the same value that we did in this partnership. And then I'll turn it back over to the fellows from Mondago. They'll tell you a little bit about their product, their licensing strategy, and things of that nature, as well as Alan will get into a bit of a demo. Then we'll circle back to some FAQs, and then at that point, if you have questions, want to make sure those questions get addressed. And then we'll just talk about if you need help host this presentation, where to go get it. And we'll also be sending out some additional information after this webinar, so you have some good reference items available to you as well. So with that, just kind of take a look at this. The relationship occurred in large part because of demand. And demand at the customer level is I think a really good way to think about this. So the product integration provides a level of call it efficiency and effectiveness in handling customer interactions, or any kind of interaction with a contact. And so where we saw this as a potential for our partners to expand their sales footprint. So looking at new verticals is one option here that the integration gives us. The other is selling into larger customers. So selling more of a complete solution where we've got a CCaaS, UCaaS, and CRM integration component can really help us all drive revenue and help us add additional customers that maybe we wouldn't have won before. And so I think when we looked at this relationship, it was just a win for all of us. And with Mondago in particular, their integration is at the PBX level is very, very solid. And that's super important to us that we had the right integration partner here. And then as a leader in the marketplace, you know, the name kept popping up, right? Everybody we talked to when we talked about experiences and who's a leader in the space, the Mondago name kept popping up. So we did feel like by the time we got to this that the decision was the strongest decision we could have made as to who the right partnership was. So with that, Alan, I'm just going to turn it over to you and Rob to start your presentation.
Great, thanks, Wayne. Next slide, please, Al, if you can.
Alan, you're going to probably have to grab the presentation from me.
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing, and then you should be able to share.
Okay, thanks. Okay. So this first slide is, you know, it's really just about Mondago. Okay, we've been on quite a long time. You can see that since 2001. We are worldwide, genuinely worldwide. We sell our software from the west coast of the States through to Australia and New Zealand. Okay, it's a type of software you can do remotely, but we do have offices in the US, as Christian said, and support. That's mainly support and sales in the US, and also in the Netherlands we have an office. We specialize in CRM integration, and that's pretty much why RingLogix would have come to us in the first place. But as Wayne emphasized, we also do a lot on the desktop, the UC side as well, desktop UC side. And I'll talk a little bit about that today as well. We saw lots of licenses and lots of big service providers use us, you know, and certainly when you look at the European side of it, a lot of national carriers will use us at that level. So yeah, we've got some pretty big partners pushing our products out. We've also got a strong relationship with the platform, the providers of the platform to RingLogix, okay? And so we worked very closely with them to get this tight PBX level integration with the product as well. Next slide, please. You know, what basically what Go Integrator Nava, and I'll just call it Nava for now. That's our sort of standard brand name for the product, for this platform, for the NetSapiens platform. It's really all simply about productivity gains. It's just about making a call handler work more quickly. So the more calls a call handler is making a day, the more time they're going to save. And the mathematics to work out the savings associated with a product by agent or user is quite simple. It's down to seconds per call. And so you get more benefit for the more calls that a caller makes a day. And there's a number of different ways it does that, you know, through call control, through CRM integration, through click to dial. So there's lots of parts and features of the product that will make the call handler or agent, whatever you want to call them, more efficient and more productive. You'll see when Alan comes onto his slides, he'll go through the tiered licensing levels as well. So it's coming with 3 licensing levels. Each license is a superset of the other. Okay, so whenever you go up a license level, you'll get more features plus what you had in the previous one. And you never have more than 1 license, right? So you just give a user 1 license and you tier up with the features. And it's very important because the base level license is at a very reasonable price point, but can give you a lot of features. Okay, and hopefully that will come out a little bit when we look at the licensing, the features by the license type. Next slide, please, Alan. Now, we believe, you know, I'll just sort of read this bit out to start. We believe that just having the ability to do CRM integration for you is going to add huge value to your overall proposition. Okay, it's slightly unfortunate for us in that sometimes you will find that you can win deals or even compete for deals because you have a good CRM solution available with your portfolio, right? So just the very fact that you can provide a high quality CRM integration solution within your overall offering will give you the opportunity to bid for more business. Now, the unfortunate thing for us is that sometimes you might win a deal because you have our product available, but the end customer may ultimately not even buy the CRM integration. But the real, slightly disappointing thing from my viewpoint is they won't even engage if you can't offer CRM integration. So it gives you the opportunity just to bid for many more deals. Okay. And on that point, we've got a lot of integrations. So, over 250, and we'll talk about them and what integration means, because what is integration? We'll go through that and we'll explain that as well. Alan, but as Wayne sort of really brought out as well in his introduction, they've chosen us not just for CRM integration. We've been chosen because it does a lot more. So normally when service providers, communication service providers such as RingLogix approach us, they approach us because they want the CRM integration element. Then they realize that it actually does an awful lot more. There's an awful lot of desktop functionality within the product. And a lot of that is available at the lower level price point. Okay, so apart from your CRM integration, you get an embedded soft phone, you get presence, you get click to dial, call history, integration with MS Teams, which will go through all of this. So you get a lot of features within the product. Okay, right, I'm going to hand over to Alan here. So over to you, Alan.
Thank you, Rob. Hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear.
Yeah.
So yeah, just over the next 20 minutes or so, I'll try and give you a good tour of what Nava looks like, how it works, some of these key features that we're talking about. This is just to give you an idea of what's happening in the background. So the Nava client is a full desktop client. We're looking at a Windows client today. There is a Mac client about to be made available as well with similar functionality. It's not exactly the same. The CRM integration list initially will be shorter, and some of the features I'm going to show you today are not all included in the Mac client, but largely the experience is similar. So it's a desktop client connecting to the telephone system and then communicating with the CRM systems. And we support up to 4 simultaneous connections to the CRM databases. So I'm going to give you a demonstration here with 2 connections, one to a personal contact list, such as Google Contacts, and then a second to a sort of business CRM. In this case, we're going to show you Salesforce integration. But basically, a user, even a solo user, can have 4 integrations. It's just the types of integration they can have that's changed by the licensing. So we'll probably repeat this a few times, but the solo and team level user licenses, you get personal contact integration with Google, you get Outlook contact integration, and on the Mac client, you'll get Apple Contacts. So that's the sort of 2 or 3 integrations you get with the lower level licensing. The top level license is Unite, and that'll give you access to everything else, the 200 odd others. In the background, there are some cloud services that we run, and this is really just about setup and provisioning. So it's really only sort of a contact point when the client starts and when it's first installed and set up. But what it does mean is that we can make centralized changes, if necessary, to some of the settings on startup. So we don't have to touch the desktop. We don't have to update clients when there's a change made. Quite often we can make changes centrally. What you're not seeing on the diagram here is the Teams connections. So we do have some features that integrate with Microsoft Teams, and there'll be a connection made from the Nava client on the desktop in 2 directions, basically. One to Microsoft in the cloud for the availability states we're going to show you, and then there's a direct connection to the Teams client as well for some of the tools that we offer there. So I'll show you that as well. That's part of the architecture. So as mentioned, there's 3 levels of licensing: Solo, Team, Unite. Solo is really the entry level. All of the dialing tools I'm going to show you included in that. So click to dial from lots of different places. Try and demonstrate some of the sort of real powerful points there. Again, the message, user productivity, being able to click to dial, save time dialing, save time on mistakes, and really speed up the process of making calls. So that's included for solo. Integration with Outlook contacts and Google Contacts. So you kind of think of that as almost like a personal contact integration. That's really for previewing, popping, identifying the caller, but only with those 2 address books. You also get the telephone system address book included in that, and you'll be able to search your co-workers. You'll be able to search the user list, but either via a directory search or via a presence list, an actual heads-up display, busy lamp field, if you will, to see that live. Team, as it suggests, really adds the Microsoft Teams integration features, and there's a couple of extra features in there as well. So there's a built-in softphone option you can use within the Nava client, and the Team license enables that feature. And there's also some custom call events. So if you've got something a little bit more unusual and you want to try and link into applications a slightly different way to the way that we integrate, then you've got some custom call events options in that level of license. And really, Unite is there for everything else on the CRM list. So there are 1 or 2 extra little features it enables. So there are some call center agent features, queue membership feature that we can enable with that license as well. But largely, it's about enabling that full list of CRMs that we can integrate with. I won't go through this in detail, but we do document the differences. So I think we're just about to update the website with the Mac content as well, so you can refer to this online as well. But it's basically just to give you the indication. There's an awful lot included in the solo entry-level license, additional Teams integration features to the Team license plus the soft phone, and then really expanding on the CRM list to give you the full capability of the client with the Unite license. Okay, so let me try and demonstrate this live for you on this desktop. So I've started off with the client already logged in. Initially, the user has the choice of how they want the client to operate. So you've got the choice of it being a discrete, almost hidden away application. It's just sitting here in the system tray, little red dot here, showing the user status. Now I'm starting off with this linked into Teams. I'll try and make clear where features might be dependent on license. So this is linked into Teams. So it's showing me red as busy. I'm already in a meeting with you guys. So I'm busy. My calendar says I'm busy in Microsoft World. So I'm shown as busy. This is normally an indicator of your current state. From this point in the system tray, if you wanted to access any features, you would right click and open our tray menu and then launch whatever feature or do whatever you need to do from here. Now, initially, this is actually a dialing tool as well. So I can actually start to type a number here and that will be a call action. Hit enter and you're going to make the call out. Or it's also going to do as it's done here, trying to do a search, try and find a match for a contact with that number. So just that initial point, right click, dial either a name or number and make your call or find your contact in your contact record. But this is discrete mode. So the idea of this is we're hidden away and we only present any information when you either want to make a call or when you receive a call. So just going to demonstrate an incoming call with a different application. Just ignore this for a second, pretend it's not there. This is just making an incoming call so you can see Nava in action. Okay, so this is what we call the preview window. Little toast pop-up box. She's showing call information. I'll talk more about this in a second with CRM integration. And it's presenting the call for the user to answer. So this is a preview window. Only appears when the call's being presented. You can put it into any corner of the screen you prefer. The user can decide it will remember its location, appearing there next time. And as you can see, we've got various call controls, various bits of information here, and contact popping, various things. I'm going to explain a little bit more detail in a second. But this is the preview window. As I said, this is discrete mode. Really only there when there's a live call or when you want to make a call. But the user can launch other tools from here. So one of the things we're going to look at next is presence. So from here, we can open a screen, which gives us effectively a busy lamp field of our co-workers in the system. This can be pinned as well, left or right of screen. So at the moment, it's free floating, but if I dock it left or right of screen, you'll see the desktop shuffles into space, and then that will stay on screen, showing that information up front all the time. So at the moment, I've enabled the Teams integration features in the solo level license. This will really just be a busy lamp field of phone status. So you'll see the contact name, and you'll see the phone state, typically green, available, red, busy. You'll see ringing states as well. When we add Teams to it, with the Team license, then we can also see, as you see, the mugshots, the avatars from Teams. You'll also see the Teams availability states here. And potentially we've got the options, you can see a hover over a colleague, you've got the option to start a Teams conversation. So start a Teams chat. If, for example, they're on the phone, you can't call them, they're already in a conversation, you could at least start a chat message from here. That'll just switch to Teams and start the conversation in Teams. Now, similarly, this is, as you can see, a speed dial. You can click to call your colleague. You could also use this to transfer a call. So if you're on a live call, the icons will change dynamically to reflect the call state. You'll have transfer options there. Okay, so that's presence in action. That can be docked on screen. We also have the option, if you are dealing with a lot of calls, rather than the preview window being shown, the user can use a fixed or always present call toolbar. This docks top or bottom of screen, so we just drag it to top or bottom and pin. And you can see again the screen shuffles to fit into space. So if you're doing a lot of calls, you might want this on screen all the time. We can use this to launch a call, either again by number or by name. And if you've got the top level Unite license and some call center membership or queue membership, we also have the option to show your queue membership and join or leave queues from here as well. But typically this is to show you the same call information that the preview window shows, but as a always on, always visible indicator. I'm just trying to throw a call in here. I'll actually do it from here, sorry. So you'll see the same information presented, but in this toolbar at the top, rather than it being a preview window. The user would potentially actually close the toolbar, close the preview window and turn that off. Helps if you press the call button. So you see in the same information presented here, look, the same popping, the buttons we're going to go on to in a second. So you can actually turn this off and have this permanently on screen. But the important thing for us is it's user's choice. So the user decides basically what they prefer to use. Now that's the sort of discrete mode, tray mode with dockable options. The user can, if they wish, make it even more present by using our app bar mode. This is really making the Nava client a permanent feature of the desktop. Instead of it being hidden down here in the tray menu, we have it always on screen, available through this strip up the left and the side of the screen. We can put it left or right of screen. And then same tools really, we can open presence from here. We can pin that presence toolbar. And if we want, we can still have the call toolbar and pin that again, top or bottom of screen. And just keep everything on screen permanently while you work around the rest of the desktop space. But again, it's user's choice. Every user can have it set up differently, whatever they prefer to do. Okay, I'll just put it back to the tray mode for a second. Okay, so flexibility first there. User gets to choose how they want to set it up, how they want to use the tool. The other thing that we're giving you, well, I'll just open some of the windows just so you can see. So we've got basically call history coming from the telephone platform. Wherever you see a number, we're going to try and integrate with the CRM system. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but wherever you see a number, you're going to have a click to dial button. You're going to have a hyperlink to call the number. And if it's integrated in CRM, you'll have a button to open the contact record. So we have a full call history from the phone system. We have a summarized call history here, so you don't see multiple entries. It's the same person is summarized into one entry. Again, click to dial or click to open the contact. We've got a full address book search, which is a little bit more detailed. So we can actually put some filters in there if you've got a lot of data to search. Put in a contact and find the matches, whether it's in the system phone book, the user list, or an integrated address book. And also from here, this is part of the CRM integration we're going to talk more about, we can actually create new contacts with the address books that you've got configured. Okay, so again, productivity from a central point, being able to communicate with multiple address books, find information quickly, find contacts quickly, make calls very quickly as well. Okay, so the other thing that we've got in the client, in this day and age of multiple devices, people working from different locations at different times, we've got a feature called preferred device. So when we have the option to click to dial, click to make a call, so I'll just give an example here where I call one of these numbers, make a call out. Nava has to initiate the call through one of your devices. In this case, it's choosing my desk phone. So I've got a physical phone at the side of me, and it's launching the call through that physical device. But I might be working from a different location at different times of day. So what we have is the option to choose which device you're using. So if you've got 5, 6 different devices in your telephone system, in your NetSapiens user profile, we can see the devices you have available and choose which one you are wanting to make the call with. So it doesn't interrupt other devices. You're working from home, you've got a desk phone in the office, you don't want that desk phone to be presented with calls. You can choose which device you want to make the call with. And as we said, if you've got a team or Unite level license, you've got a built-in soft phone option here. So if I'm on the road, working from a hotel, working from a remote office, I can choose to use the soft phone instead. And then when the call's made, I'm going through this device, this desktop instead, through my headset. Important to say on that point, it doesn't affect the ringing devices. So it's not, it doesn't have a bearing on the incoming calls, other than potentially we might be able to answer the call within Nava. You see the call information presented, but it's not affecting the devices that the call's presented to. It's only affecting really affecting the outbound path of the call. So that takes me nicely into CRM. Most of the time, what we're looking for with Nava is an integration into an address book. So what I've got configured on this client is 2 integrations: Google, which you would get with the Solo license, and Outlook. You could also integrate with Outlook with the Solo and team level licenses. It's Unite for everything else. So with those 2 integrations, what we're normally looking for is, if I go back to that preview window, the incoming call information, throw that call in again, the information that we're getting from the CRM system here. Just getting some feedback at my end, sorry. So what we're looking for here, is caller information. Who's calling? Quick identification before we answer the call. Where they're calling from as well. So you saw there a location for the number, and then the buttons to pop the contact as well. So I'm just going to try and do that again and take the call if I can keep it connected. The blight of demonstrations, unfortunately, sometimes things don't quite behave themselves. Okay, so that's better. Okay, so we're seeing the details. What we also have is the option to show multiple contacts. This is something I'm actually showing you a slightly newer version. Is out in the field. You'll see multiple contacts is what we would show in the current version. This new patch I've got here is just to slightly improve that and show you some alternative names. But basically, we're identifying the caller or showing if it's got multiple records for the same number. Identifying location, so we can actually see where this person's calling from as well. And that will work internationally. We'll get a good indication of where they're calling from. If the CRM supports it as well, some additional notes fields. So it's not just name and company. We can also put in additional information in there, which could be different every time you speak to a contact, you edit and update their notes field. So you've got a prompt there for the next time they call in. So this is dependent on the CRM. I'll talk and explain a little bit how you understand that in advance. And then you've got the buttons to pop the contact. So in this case, this contact has been found in 3 different locations. We've got a button for each of those locations: Salesforce, Google, and actually in the phone system as well. And it's a manual button to pop the contacts. Now, this can be automated. I'm going to turn it on to automatic popping in a minute. But when you've got multiple locations for a contact, we tend to find a user prefers to identify the call and then manually decide which record to pop. If you turn automatic popping on, you might end up with 2 or 3 different windows popping at the same time. But again, the user gets to control that and gets to decide for themselves. So we click to pop the record in Google, or we open the record in Salesforce, and we take directed straight to that particular contact. Now, in the case of some CRMs, you're seeing an extra field here for a proper CRM like Salesforce. It's not just contact integration. We can also log some activity records. So in this case, for Salesforce, we are creating a call activity record, normally at the end of the call, but it can be done manually by a button press here. But normally, end of the call, we automatically write a call activity record like this. So it's basically capturing that a conversation took place and the parties involved with the call. Okay, so that integration, it's obviously identifying the call when it comes in, manually or automatically popping the record. So I'll just turn that on just as an example. If a few people prefer to do that, we can set the popping. You could actually even turn all the preview windows off if you wanted to. So when the call's presented, we just go straight in and pop the contact. So that's very discrete mode. You hardly even see the Nava client in action. It's just providing you with the information when the call comes in. Okay. Now, the extra little feature that we also have available in our CRM integration, you can see on some of these entries. So, for example, in my recent calls list, I'm finding a match for John here. At the moment, only found in my Google contact list. We're presenting this add contact button, which is basically offering to write that contact data to other address books that we have configured. If I look at somebody like Tom here, they're in Salesforce, but not in Google. And here's another one that's actually in multiple locations. So we're presenting a button for each location that we find that contact. It might be a new number that's not in any of our address books yet. So add contact is our way of potentially keeping your address books up to date, either during the call from the preview window or the call toolbar, or at the end of the call, we can write that contact data to a new location. Now, what we find, we also try and make this as easy as possible for the user. If we add an existing contact that we already know from one location, we'll pre-populate this form to push that information into another address book very quickly. You can either save it, push it in there, it's done, or you can save it and open it and edit it further, for example. So this is another way of sort of keeping contact records up to date, looking for mistakes, looking for errors. So when you get a multiple match, for example, you might have 3 records with the same number. So it's a good way of presenting the different options that you've got and keeping those address books up to date. If it's a blank entry, somebody you've not spoken to before, then it's an empty form. And again, we can write that contact data directly into the address book. So again, real time saver, pushing contact information, keeping it maintained between different CRMs. And the more CRMs you got, the more efficient, the more time saving that's going to be. Okay, I'm going to show you the tool that helps simplify CRM integration because it's quite a complex area. So if I just give you a little hint about, in fact, what I'm just going to show you first is some dialing tools, and then I'm going to show you the tool that we use to help understand the CRM integrations that we have, because it's really quite a big list. If I just literally show you in the client, with the Unite license, you're going to see a lot of integrations, and understanding what's available with these integrations is itself quite a challenge. So we have a tool to help you with that, which I'll show you next. Before I get to that, though, just going to show you some more user productivity speed tools. Really, it's about dialing. So lots of different ways of dialing. Our mission is, as long as you can see the number on the screen, you can dial it. You don't have to manually dial anything, is the mission. So we've got different tools that are available. Basic ones that you would expect, being able to dial a number that you can copy, clipboard dialing, dialing from within applications, that's focus dialing or application dialing. We've got more traditional dialers, so anything that's TAPI compliant, normally we have a means of dialing. Or we've got browser-based dialing tools for the common browsers. So that's probably the one that most people are going to use. If we're in something like Salesforce or Google, either of these are browser-based clients. If we're looking at a list of contacts like this, then we have the option to enable dialing detection. So it's a little app that you plug into the browser, about 30 seconds to install it into the browser of choice. And you see there, any number that we detect, we're giving you a hyperlink to dial. So it's click to dial to make that call through your Nava client. And where's it going to dial? It's going to dial with your preferred device. So whatever we're choosing here, we're going to make the call out when we click here. Okay, so if it's browser-based, normally we can do that, click to dial. If it's more traditional, we're going to take a number from anything that we can copy, anywhere you can highlight the number. We're going to present that as a click to dial. If we've got an application, Outlook Contacts, for example, is a good one where we can insert dialing numbers in the application. You can actually see when I use this little app to dial, we're seeing that detection here. This is actually Nava providing you with a click to dial link. So that's sort of application detection. But we're often finding places where you can't just use one of those tools. CRM systems sometimes do this, but if you're looking at a web page or an email signature, quite often what you're looking at isn't actually text, so you can't select it. This is just an image file that I've got here, look, with numbers in there. This is me trying to select the text. I can't select it. It's an image file, but what we have instead is an image detection tool within Nava that you can enable, and it just simply does this. If I hold Control Shift on the keyboard, you see where my cursor is. You draw a box, and we try and detect a number within that box. So if I'm hovering over a number when I detect that when I'm holding those keys down, look, it turns it into a hyperlink to dial. Okay, so click and you are making the call, but I turned my preview window off. So I need to turn my preview window back on, but I'll just use the toolbar. You can see the calls being made. Okay. So really the mission is, if you can see the number, you can dial it. I'm going to turn that preview window back on so you can see if I make another call. So let's say we've got quite a lot of, basically every dialing tool that we have is available to, every tool that we have is available to, oh, I'm just going to, there you go, live demonstrations. Can't always work perfectly, can it? Every tool we have available to dial is in the solo license and the team license. The CRM integration list is really where the Unite license comes in. So as I say, it's quite a complex area of the software. So I'm just going to switch back to the slides to explain a little bit more about CRM integration. So this is the features that we've just gone through. Typically, it's called a preview. Identify the call quickly before you answer, so you can answer appropriately. Find the contact data, either through manual or automatic popping. Maintain the list as well by editing the contact or adding new contact data very quickly. If we have the option to write activity log events to the CRM as well at the end of the call, and then lots of different dialing tools. So these are all available in the solo and team level license. It's really just the CRM integration that's different. We only have Google Contacts and Outlook Contacts with solo and team licenses. It's the Unite license for everything else. So what we also give you is this tool. In fact, I'm just going to, this is the tool. I'm going to open it from here. So basically, it's a search tool to give you the guidance on the CRM integrations that are available. So it's just a website. Typically, you come in here to search for a particular product. So you'll stick in the name of the CRM from here, hit a search, and see what results we get. That's normally how people would use it. But what you can see here is that we've got quite a few filters to decide what we want to do with the search that we're going for. Now, what I'm just going to do to change this around a little bit is we'll go back to just seeing the list. We're often asked for a list. Do you have a list of your CRMs that we integrate with? Well, we sort of do. It's here because it's changing all the time. We're adding new integrations every month, so the list is being updated continuously. I'm just going to narrow down the search, so we're just looking specifically at Nava for Windows. Mac will appear on here very soon. And then we're looking at different types of integration. Standard simply means it's in the client and you don't need any support from Mondago to apply that integration. So there's 100 different packages on that list where there is help within the client to guide you how to set them up. So when you're looking at the integration within the software client itself, there is online help, step-by-step guidance to show you how to set that integration up. So we hope 99 times out of 100, you can do it yourself, no help should be needed. Or whoever's configuring the software, if this is your end customer's IT administrator, whoever, they can find that help and set up the integration themselves. So that's a standard integration. Everything on this list, apart from Google Contacts and Outlook Contacts, would be a Unite level license. It shows you here the license type. And then we click on full details to see a little bit more information about that particular integration. So what you're seeing here is a list of the features that you can expect that integration to provide through Nava. Some advisory notes as well. So this is all important information for you ahead of sale. And then additional information if we've got it. And also, if I just use a more common integration, let's go with Salesforce that everybody wants, everybody asks for. Got various ways of integrating with Salesforce. I'll just show you the one here that we've just demonstrated. We'll often have, you can see here, more features available, but we'll often have a video as well that you can use to present to a potential end customer to show how that integration looks. Okay, so I won't show all this video now, but you'll get an idea. We show you the common features, how add contact works if we have that option. It moves on to show you what an incoming call preview looks like, what manual popping would look like. And further on, if we have it, we have how call activity records work. So what it looks like when you're generating a call activity log. So the really useful videos, it's basically an end user demonstration for the CRM that they're looking for. So we don't have it on every single CRM integration, but we have it on a large number of the CRMs, which is really a good tool for you to use when you've got an opportunity. Now, the thing we're using this tool for as well is to show you the features that are available if you have a specific feature set. So if I just go back a second and just clear out to this point, what you could do is look for the integrations that we have with specific features. So we talked about being able to write contact records directly. So that's add contact. We've got 43 different integrations that we can do that with. Or you could be looking for the ones that have activity logging, for example. We've got 48 integrations there with activity logging as well. So different ways of using this tool as well. Or you might be looking for the CRMs that we have in a particular sector. So we have a market sector here, or industries, search by industry, and look for particular integrations that we have in particular sectors. And again, you can go in and dig deeper and look at a particular integration from there. Now, this leads me nicely onto the other category, which is controlled integrations. So if I just go back to my home page again, standard integrations, as I said, they're in the client. You can configure them yourself. Controlled integrations, they do need some input from ourselves. So from our Mondago support team, there's around 200 integrations there. I say 200, you see the same name, different versions. There's about 160, 170 different CRMs that we work with here, where they need support from us. So there will be a process through RingLogix to request that support, but it's basically a remote installation session to show the setup of 2 clients, make that integration work for you, and then you can roll it out to other users. The other category you see here, legacy will just be older CRMs that are no longer supported by the CRM provider, but we potentially can still integrate with it if it's necessary. Maybe somebody migrating from an old system to a new system. And standard pre-release, these are integrations that are not yet in the client, but they are available on request. So they're typically going to be available in the next major release of the software. Standard select, really UK centric at the moment, but you might see that populated with integrations in future. That's really a special category where there's a special relationship with the CRM vendor. But majority of what you're looking for is going to be a standard, hopefully. So the easy one, or controlled, it needs some support. Okay, I think the final thing to mention is if you do come across something, and I think you probably should be feeding these back through RingLogix. If you do come across something that's not already on the list, we do have a process. Now, I think I'd recommend that these go back through RingLogix, because quite likely that you may have a similar request to another reseller, but we do have a process. This is really what our business is about. Month in, month out, we are investigating new integrations and trying to add them to the list. Okay, so we do have a process for that to try and make those integrations available as soon as we can make them available. Okay, so this is just a little summary here with the different integration types. Main thing that we're talking about here, look, is standard integrations. We provide you hopefully everything that you need to deliver that integration. More often than not, it's going to be the Unite level license. It's only Outlook and Google that are included in the solo and team license. If it's controlled integration, then yes, unfortunately, you need our help. But at least you can say, yes, you can deliver that solution to the client. Okay, hopefully that's a nice, good tour of the client. Rob, I think I'm handing back over to you at this point, unless we take any questions.
Yeah, you are. Thank you, Alan. Well, I think maybe I've only got a couple of slides, so we'll get to the end now, and then we can go into Q&A. So really just going to reiterate, by the way, thank you, Alan, brilliant demo. Just going to reiterate what we've sort of already said. It's really all about saving time, and hopefully you can see now that popping a contact, click to dial, the ease of transferring a call, checking if somebody's available to take a call or not, can improve customer satisfaction. So you're saving time, not just for the call agent, also for the caller. So all of these things lead to greater efficiency and higher customer satisfaction. Also, little sort of softer benefits, like it can help you keep your data accurate in your different contact databases. It'll start to demonstrate where you've got incorrect data by using that also known as type feature, where you can see different names against the same number. That's sometimes legitimate, obviously, but other times it's not. Next slide, please. So really just selling points. Obviously we want you guys to go out there and get this, installed on the end customer base. you know, it's a high value complementary product for your offering, your telephony offering to your end customer. All right, it's going to tie hand in hand with it in every respect. All right, so it doesn't compete with anything. It can just complement any other products you've already got. It is a desktop app, so you've got to download it, but it's actually very easy to set up. And in most instances, we'd expect any IT administrator at the end customer to be able to install this and even set up the integrations, the standard integrations. So we think it's quite straightforward, but often it can be the case that you want to provide that service to them, or we can even provide that service to you if you want. We provide professional services from the Scottsdale office, so we can do that if you want. We write lots of new integrations. We get over 20 a month requests. We don't write 20 a month, but we get over 20, you know, and we'll charge typically between $1,000 and $1,200, well, between $1,000 and $1,500 to write a new integration. Okay, it depends on how much we want it, how many licenses are attached to it, and that type of thing. But you know, it's a massive number of requests we get, and it does mean that you can engage with every opportunity, even if the integration is not available because of this service we offer. Okay, and I think, you know, just remember, CRM integration will help you sell seats, normal voice seats, to your customer, whether we get a license or not out of it. It'll help you sell it. Next slide. Oh, that's it. So hopefully that's been helpful, Wayne. Hopefully that sort of met your expectations. I hope it has. But back over to you.
You did. Yeah, I've answered a couple of questions here, but I want to just highlight a couple of things, and then I'm going to turn it over to everybody to answer questions. In the lower bar, well, I guess this depends on how you have Zoom configured on your laptop or computer, but there's a Q&A section. If you want to drop your questions into the Q&A section, we'll start to answer those, and Rob or Alan or Christian, if you guys see something there that you can help add to the question, please go ahead and grab it and answer it. I wanted to highlight, because I think one of the real interesting things is at the CEO level, you've got all sorts of people who use Salesforce. Salesforce is by far the biggest CRM in use. And, you know, we've got integrations there with Mondago now, but you've got all these other, call it vertical opportunities for us as well. And I think this gets interesting for a lot of sales and marketing people out there to think about. When you're selling your white label UCaaS, like how do you get a competitive advantage here? And I think looking at vertical solutions where you have the customer base to support this, or the knowledge, or the, call it, industry expertise, you can really find some avenues. And I just chose legal here. It's an area I kind of know a little bit about, and I know Clio and Filevine are real popular within the legal space. So I'm using this as an example about how you might want to think through your positioning in these spaces. So with the Mondago integration, you get all of those features, the quick to dial, the pop records, logging client interactions, and a lot of times that stuff has real world value to the customer. Being able to log customer interactions at the legal level gives you, the records you need to better manage. But you'll often see that they're trying to understand how to bill a customer, and they bill in increments, and they need that data in order to help them effectively bill their clients. And then on the RingLogix side, you've got a platform that allows them to work from anywhere. So you got mobile apps and desktop apps and things like that. They have the ability to record their calls. So if they're in a negotiation or on a call with a customer, oftentimes you'll see that they want to record those calls in order to preserve them for whatever records they need. Pulling phone records, customer disputes and things like that sometimes arise when you're in the legal field, and being able to show when calls occurred and at how the duration of those calls can be important. Managing after hours responses that you would typically find in an auto-attendant and queue. And then alternate forms of communication. So we focus a lot on voice here, but being able to chat with potential clients or other lawyers or things without necessarily giving out your cell phone number, because you don't want to be bothered at night and on the weekends is an important feature. And then within a lot of law firms, they spend money on advertising. And how do they measure the effectiveness of it? Well, sometimes making the phone ring is the primary driver of their advertising. Being able to pull reports and understand that can be really useful. So I wanted to bring that up because I know that we've got several partners who are very vertical focused. And I think when you start putting all these pieces together and thinking about how you present them to your potential customers, adds just a ton of value.
And Wayne, I'll just jump in there if I may. I've done a big push on automotive over the last few months. So we've got some automotive integrations either just available or just coming available. So, that's certainly a sector that we see a lot of interest in. So done a hard push on that over the last 6 months.
Yeah, I think automotive is a great vertical for people to focus on. So automotive has gone through a bit of a transition over the last few years, and you'll see that they're dealing with a lot of inbound things that happen via their web advertisement. So a lot of them have set up, little mini call centers, and they've got obviously salespeople on the sales floor. So there's multiple use cases within, say, like an auto dealership. And I forget which particular integrations you had. I know there was multiple integrations in that space that potentially provide a lot of value. I think Dealer Socket was one very popular.
Yeah, we've got Dealer Socket available now.
Yeah. So I think that represents a lot of opportunity. So I wanted to present some additional things that I think partners are going to ask about this. In our knowledge base, we've got some of the base level information around Mondago. I'll be sending out a link. I believe it'll probably go out tomorrow with a recording of this webinar, a link to the knowledge base resources, and you're going to find some technical stuff. You're going to find some sales and marketing stuff. But if you don't find what you're looking for, just reach out to your partner growth manager. If we need to bring Christian or somebody else into the conversation because it gets a little deep, certainly we can do that. The question of cost, what are the costs? I think you guys probably picked this up from the webinar here, and Alan went through, I think, a good bit of detail trying to call out which features are which. But Solo, your cost 70 cents, Team $1.54, and Unite $3.99. And again, within the knowledge base, we've got a link that shows you what feature sets you get within each of them. But I think Alan did a great job of demoing that. So how do you buy? If you're looking to establish this either for yourself or for a customer, right now we'd ask that you reach out to support, give us the customer name, PBX ID, user extension, any license type that you're requiring, Solo, Team, United. Let us know which one's being applied to which extension. And then how is it provisioned? Well, once the order is placed, we will provision it, essentially run a script on the back end, give us about 48 hours. And then once that's settled and the provision has been done, you'll receive an access code from us. So relatively simple process. We just need a little bit of information. Again, that will be listed in the knowledge base. So you don't have to necessarily write this down right now, but you can go to the knowledge base and find it. And then how do you get help? Well, we are supporting it. So support@ringlogix.com would be the email address for any, call it tech support or ordering questions that you have, or reach out to success@ringlogix.com. That's my team. So it copies me and several members of the team on there, and we're happy to help you through that. So with that, I would ask if there's any additional questions here that we can maybe help with. So I'm going to look through chat real quick and see what's popping up. Bear with me 1 second, folks. Stop sharing here, make it easier. Okay, it looks like several questions have been answered. Yeah. So there was some, specific questions about integration. Just the link here is important because that is where you'll go if it's not something that we have already talked about in terms of the integration. There's over 300, so there's a lot of integrations, and my first suggestion would be to go to that integrations link that Alan was showing. Again, that's in the knowledge base. It'll be included in the email that we send out to you. So you should find what you need there. There was another question here. Alan, I'm going to kind of have to maybe bounce this back to you. So with regards to Teams, so I think the assumption here with some of these questions would be either a Microsoft calling plan or a direct routing solution connected to the customer if you're making external calls. But there's one other component here in regards to Microsoft calling that somebody may be needing an answer to, and that is there's a phone system license that essentially gives you that dial pad. I'm assuming in this scenario that this really replaces that phone system license, and the requirement is mostly to have a connection to the PSTN. Is that accurate?
I'll try and answer. I think Rob might jump in as well at this point. But so what Narva's basically doing is providing you with the CRM integration details. But what you potentially have the option for is if your Teams client is able to make outbound calls through whatever plan, whether it's through the NetSapiens system, whether it's anything direct, Narva is able to pass the number that you want to dial to Teams. So when you click to dial with Narva, whether it's that screen read dialing I showed, whether it's clipboard dialing, whether it's a CRM search, when you click to make the call, Narva could pass that number to Teams to complete the call, if that's what is being asked. So that's a choice, but we're not completing the call. We're not providing the call routing path in any way. We're just passing the number to dial to the device of choice, desk phone, built-in soft phone, Teams client potentially. Does that answer the question?
I believe it does, unless somebody else has a deeper question on that. For reference point, we have a Microsoft direct routing solution available through RingLogix. Lots of partners use it to sell direct routing solutions to customers who use Microsoft Teams. So
Correct.
The way I'm kind of envisioning these two things coming together, so I think that makes sense to me. But if there's other questions here, please let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add one thing there, is that all of the Teams integration features that Alan just demonstrated don't require any type of integration with Microsoft Teams. They're end user graph API level features, so they're not related to dial-in or any call plan with Teams at all.
Good.
Okay.
Good to know. Thanks. Let's see. I think there's some thank yous. This is really sweet. This is what we've been meeting for. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Jeff. And then I've got a question here. I'm just going to have you contact me directly on this. It's a pricing related question that I'll have to get an answer for you. Okay. And then Michael, we're not offering this as a white label solution at this point, so it would have the Nava logo attached to it. And I think that's it. All right. Well, everybody, appreciate it. Mondago team, thank you very much for attending in the demo and all of the assistance. And I'm sure we've got to talk about here in the next couple of weeks as our partners start to get ramped up and we identify new opportunities.
Pleasure.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you for
everybody.
having us.
Thanks, Wayne.
We
Thanks,
appreciate this.
Gabriella. And
Thanks,
Jim,
everybody.
and, see you
Bye
soon.
bye.
Cheers now.
All right, bye guys.